Welcome to History in a Hurry. This episode will cover Russia and Ukraine. The relationship between Russia and Ukraine is deeply rooted in history, marked by shared origins, cultural connections, and long-standing political tensions. The story begins with Kievan Rus, a medieval Slavic federation established in the 9th century, centered in Kiev. Kievan Rus is often regarded as the cradle of East Slavic civilization, forming the cultural and religious foundation for modern Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus. In 988, Prince Vladimir the Great adopted Christianity from Byzantium, forging a shared Orthodox Christian heritage. However, the unity of Kievan Rus was short-lived. It fragmented in the 13th century under the pressures of Mongol invasions and internal divisions, leading to the divergence of the East Slavic peoples. By the 14th century, much of what is now Ukraine came under the control of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, introducing Western European influences and Catholicism to the region. During this time, a distinct Ukrainian identity began to emerge, particularly among the Cossacks, a semi-autonomous military society based in the steppes. The mid-17th century was pivotal when the Cossack hetmanate allied with the Tsardom of Russia through the Treaty of Pereyaslav in 1654. The 18th and 19th centuries were defined by growing tensions between Ukrainian national identity and Russian imperial rule. Following the partitions of Poland, Catherine the Great consolidated Russian control over Ukrainian lands. The Tsarist regime enforced policies that promoted the use of the Russian language while marginalizing Ukrainian culture. At the same time, a Ukrainian national revival began, with intellectuals and writers advocating for cultural and political autonomy. The emergence of this movement set the stage for future struggles for independence. The early 20th century brought seismic changes to the relationship between Russia and Ukraine. The collapse of the Russian Empire during World War I and the Russian Revolution provided an opportunity for Ukraine to declare independence in 1917. However, this independence was short-lived, as competing factions, including the Bolsheviks, Ukrainian nationalists, and foreign powers, vied for control. By 1922, Ukraine was incorporated into the newly formed Soviet Union as the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic. Under Soviet rule, Ukraine experienced both industrialization and severe repression. The Holodomor, a man-made famine in 1932-1933 resulting from Stalin's collectivization policies, killed millions of Ukrainians and is widely regarded as an act of genocide. World War II further devastated Ukraine, which became a major battleground. While some Ukrainians collaborated with the Nazis in hopes of achieving independence, others fought in the Soviet Red Army. After the war, the Soviet regime tightened its grip on Ukraine, continuing policies of Russification and suppressing dissent. Despite these challenges, Ukrainian nationalism persisted underground, fueled by memories of famine, war, and repression. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked a turning point. Ukraine declared independence, a move overwhelmingly supported by its population in a national referendum. However, tensions grew as Russia sought to maintain its influence over Ukraine, particularly through economic means such as control over natural gas supplies. The early 21st century saw a series of political upheavals that highlighted the growing divide between pro-Russian and pro-European factions in Ukraine. The Orange Revolution of 2004 followed allegations of electoral fraud in favor of pro-Russian candidate Viktor Yanukovych. Mass protests led to a rerun of the election, resulting in the victory of pro-European candidate Viktor Yushchenko. This period of political volatility underscored Ukraine's struggle to define its identity and geopolitical orientation. The situation reached a critical juncture in 2014 with the Euromaidan protests, which erupted after Yanukovych, now president, rejected an association agreement with the European Union in favor of closer ties with Russia. The protests culminated in Yanukovych's ousting, prompting Russia to annex Crimea and support separatist movements in eastern Ukraine's Donbas region. These actions sparked international condemnation and led to a war that has claimed over 14,000 lives by 2021. The annexation of Crimea and the conflict in Donbas marked a stark escalation in Russian-Ukrainian tensions, with Ukraine increasingly aligning itself with the West. The situation worsened in February 2022, when Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, citing the need to denazify the country and protect Russian-speaking populations. The invasion triggered a massive humanitarian crisis, with tens of thousands killed and millions displaced. Ukraine, under President Volodymyr Zelensky, mounted a robust defense, receiving significant military and financial support from NATO countries. The war has further deepened the divide between the two nations, with Ukraine asserting its independence and Russia seeking to reassert its dominance. Culturally and politically, the relationship between Russia and Ukraine is characterized by shared heritage and enduring conflict. While both nations trace their origins to Kievan Rus, their paths diverged significantly over centuries of political domination and resistance. As Ukraine continues to resist Russian aggression, its struggle for independence remains a defining feature of its relationship with Russia. Thanks for racing through history with us on History in a Hurry. If you enjoyed today's quick dive into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a fast-paced trip through time. See you in the next one.